and this is made by Cath. Thank you so much for joining me and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're a regular viewer. It's very lovely to have you here. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking all about what I've been sewing over the last week, and I've got some sewing plans to share with you as well. So lots to catch up on, really looking forward to chatting it all through, and thank you very much for being here. Before I get started on all of that, I'll kick off with what I'm wearing today for my handmade wardrobe. And actually here in the south of England today, the weather is really beautiful. You might be able to see a little glimpse of the sunshine shining through the window in the reflection from the mirror up there. But yeah, the sun is shining today. It's looking set to be quite warm. I think spring's really on its way, and the Easter holidays are starting next week as well. So hopefully we'll have some lovely weather for that. And today I thought I'd put on one of my blouses, which I don't often reach for in the winter so much, but I think they're perfect for this time of year. And I don't know whether you watched last week's video, but I was talking in that video and sharing a shirt I recently made for my mum using the Grain Line Archer shirt pattern. And that just got me thinking about my own shirts and blouses and wanting to get them out. So yes, that is what I've got on today. This is the blouse pattern by the Avid seamstress. And I always say it's quite a good pattern if you're looking to get into making a blouse, but would like quite a simple one to start with, because it hasn't got the full cuff and placket on the sleeve. It's just got this little elasticated cuff, and it comes down to just above the elbow here. But you could easily extend the sleeve if you wanted like a full length version. And then it's got a little band collar, so it's not got the full collar and stand. It doesn't have any darts, it's just got this button placket down the front. It's quite a straight fit. And I just think it's quite a nice, simple pattern for showcasing a pretty print. Although obviously the version I'm wearing today is not that. I made this version in just a plain blue chambray. And it's quite old now, this shirt. So the chambray's been washed and worn quite a lot and got really lovely and soft. And I originally actually used this chambray for another project, and I had quite a decent amount left over, just enough to squeeze this blouse out. And I've actually ended up using this blouse a lot more than the original garment that I made using this fabric. So I was glad, it was a happy accident. I ended up with plenty of fabric left over to make this one. It's just, I feel like it goes with lots of things in a sort of plain blue chambray. And I've got it on today with a skirt that just comes to just above my knee, and it's a viscose sort of swishy skirt. I'll stand up a bit so you can see it. And this is another very old make. I made this one using one of my favourite skirt patterns, the Estuary skirt by So Liberated, which has an elasticated back of waist and then a flat front. So you can just put it on. It has got a button placket down the front, but it can be a faux placket because you can just pull the skirt on. If you've watched my channel for a while, I'm sure you've heard me talk about this pattern before. It's one I really love. It comes together nicely. And I think it's another one for showcasing a pretty print. So that is what I'm wearing today. I'll pop a picture up so you can see what the full outfit looks like. I'm not quite ready for bare legs yet. It's not that warm here, so I've still got a pair of tights on. But yeah, it's nice to have a blouse on, and I'm looking forward to getting more woven tops out. Now the weather's getting warmer. I feel like in winter I often go for all the knits. They feel a bit cozier. So yeah, I do like this time of year where I get to start pulling out different things from my wardrobe. But yeah, that's what I'm wearing today. I'll link the patterns down below. I think, well, this is like a classic blue chambray, which you get from most places. This fabric of my skirt, this beautiful floral fabric, I got from John Lewis a few years ago in the sale, so I don't think it's available anywhere, unfortunately, but yeah, I will link the patterns down below. So yes, that's what I'm wearing today, but I'll move on now to what I've been sewing this week. And the first thing that I wanted to share is a project that I've completed this week that has been sitting on the back burner, just needing finishing for a while. So I thought I'd finally be able to show you it, and I got some pictures of it yesterday so I can show you what it looks like as well. And this is probably the last of my wintry makes, at least with the way the weather's going. I'm starting to now think about more spring and summer makes, but this one is a little bit more of a wintry one, although I might still need it yet knowing the British weather. I decided to make another Jarrah sweatshirt by Megan Nielsen Patterns, which I love. I love this pattern. Using this gorgeous fabric I got from Guthrie Ghani. It is a fibre mood fabric, and it's a sort of modal cotton mix knitted fabric, which is really pretty. Hold it up so you can see. I don't think these types of fabrics come around that often, where it looks almost very neat hand knitted, this kind of larger knitted style. And I just thought it would make a lovely sweatshirt, and I snapped it up, and I really like the colour of it, this kind of sort of light, pale, cool green colour. I'm not sure if this is in stock anymore at Guthrie Garney, because I bought this a few weeks ago now. But if it is, I'll link it down below. It's been a funny one to sew with because it does fray more than your average knit fabric, I think, because the knit weave is much looser. So I did make sure to overlock everything on the inside, so hopefully it sort of lasts well, which I don't often do with knit garments. But yeah, I decided to make the Jarrah, and I decided to make this version, or this neckline here, with a funnel neck. But I extended it quite a bit to make more of an oversized slouchy neck. And then I just made the straightforward Jarrah just with, I just didn't add cuffs or bottom band or anything. I just hemmed the bottoms of the cuffs because I thought it'd work better with this fabric. So it's all done now, and here it is. So yeah, these little cuffs here, I used a twin needle on them, and I also used a twin needle on the bottom. And actually the reason I held off finishing this make, because I pretty much made it and all I had to do was hem the cuffs and the bottom, was because recently I've been making the Karina cardigan by Jarrah as part of a Guthrie Garney Sewing Society kit. And in that kit, Lauren explained in her top tips video all about how to use Stretch Fix, which I'd never come across before, but you can use it to sort of stabilise hems so that when you turn them up and sew them, they don't stretch out. And I was really concerned with this fabric, the hem would stretch out quite a bit, just because of how it feels. I had a suspicion it's one of those ones that would gradually grow as I tried to hem it, even with using my walking foot, and I might end up with quite a wavy hem. So I thought I'd pop this to the side until I finished my Karina cardigan and figured out how Stretch Fix worked. And I thought maybe I could have a go of using Stretch Fix on this to give a better finish, rather than rushing to finish it and ending up with a bit of a wavy hem. Because I do find sometimes with sort of knitted fabrics like this, even as much as you can press them with a steam iron, sometimes you just can't get them to shrink back to where they started once they've been sort of stretched out a bit by the sewing machine. So yes, I ended up using Stretch Fix for the bottom hem here, and it worked really well. I mentioned in a previous video, it almost works like a double-sided sellotape. You pop on, stick one side down with the iron, then fold over, peel off the other side, and sort of it kind of almost fuses the two pieces together and adds a bit of stability when you're hemming. And it works really well, and I think I've got like a really nice finish on the bottom hem here. It didn't stretch out. I didn't end up using the Stretch Fix on the actual cuffs, just because well, Lauren recommended you put the Stretch Fix on before you sew the seams, because then you can get it on flat. But I thought it'd be too fiddly to kind of try and iron it into the cuff, and I thought I might end up stretching the garment out through the ironing anyway. So I thought I'd just, given the cuffs were a little bit smaller, I thought I'd just twin needle them, and actually they came out okay. And you can see I don't think they've stretched out much there. So yes, but it was definitely worthwhile doing on the hem. So that's all finished with Stretch Fix. I had a little bit left over from the Karina cardigan kit I could use, but I definitely would use it again for those garments where kind of I'm worried that the final step of hemming ends up giving a bad finish when I don't take a bit of time just trying to get those hems really stable and really nice at that point. So yes, it's all done and dusted, and I got a couple of pictures, so I'll pop it up. It's designed to be quite a slouchy, relaxed fit sweatshirt that I can just throw on with a pair of jeans. I always make the size 0 in the Jarrah, which is based on my bust measurement. My hips and waist have put me as a size 4, but as you can see from the size 0, there's plenty of room there. It's still pretty oversized on me by going with my bust measurement. So I think if your measurements put you across a couple of sizes, or even maybe 3 sizes, you might not need to grade. You could just pick one of the sizes and it would hopefully be okay, because there's quite a lot of I think there's quite a lot of leeway in the sizes on this one because it is quite oversized. So yeah, I'm really glad to have that one done. As I said, I'll link the fabric down below if it's still available. I think it's quite a pretty colour for spring actually, this sort of pale green. So on a chillier day, I'll definitely try and get it out because I would like to wear it rather than just put it straight away until next winter. But yeah, I'm really glad to have that one done. So the next thing that I wanted to share is 2 new makes that I sewed up this week using a new to me pattern that I really enjoyed giving a try, and enjoyed so much I made it twice. And this pattern actually is one that I didn't even know existed until a couple of weeks ago, and it's thanks to you guys that I came across it. So a couple of weeks ago I shared a little fabric godmother haul of a few fabrics, and one of them was a Pointelle fabric, which is a type of fabric I've always loved the look of. Thought it was really pretty, but I'd only sewn with once before. And I mentioned I was a little bit unsure about sewing with it because I know Pointelle is made of 100% cotton. And although it has good stretch, it doesn't have such good recovery. So I wasn't sure about the sewing techniques and good patterns to choose. But I bought 1.5 meters of the fabric, hoping that I could make some sort of maybe close-fitting top using that fabric. And a few of you recommended the same pattern, which I didn't even know was out there, which is a pattern by Paradise Patterns, and it's their Honey Girl tee. So I've sewn with a pattern by Paradise Patterns before, which is the Blommer Tank, and I really love that one. But I didn't know that they'd actually released a series of patterns designed specifically for sewing with Pointelle fabric. And one of them was just what I had in mind for what I wanted to make out of the fabric I got from Fabric Godmother. So this is the Honey Girl tee pattern here. So you can make it either as a sort of hip length, sort of tight fitting top with this scoop neck on long sleeves, or you can make it as more of a cropped t-shirt with more of a crew neck. But you can mix and match the features. So you could make this version with the scoop neck and either length and that sort of thing. It's designed specifically for Pointelle and it has a great size range too. It goes from sizes A to P, which takes you from a bust of 30 inches up to a bust of 62 inches. And the pattern also includes B cup and D cup options. And I made the B cup option, but the D cup option has a dart at the front to give it more shaping around the bust area. So yeah, when I saw that pattern, I thought that is absolutely perfect because not only is it sort of the pattern actually designed for Pointelle fabrics, but also the pattern takes you through lots of hints and tips for how to make a successful garment in Pointelle fabrics, including how to wash it and different stitch lengths to use. So it's very specific and it really holds your hand through the whole process of making a garment in Pointelle fabric. And this is the style of top I wanted to make anyway, so it's just perfect. The pattern also has a couple of add-ons too. So once you bought this pattern, you can also get a free add-on, download a free add-on for like a mock neck style top, which I thought was cool. And then you can also pay a little bit to get a dress add-on, which I quite like to make at some point. I'd like to make a dress version. I think, yeah, if I could find like maybe a Pointelle fabric in a colour I like for a dress, I'll definitely give that a go as well. But yes, I thought I'd give this pattern a try to start with. So I'll show you how I got on. So first of all, I decided to make a version that I intended, which is this one here. And here is my new Pointelle top. So this Pointelle fabric has a lovely sort of stripe and diamond, which you can hopefully see there, the Pointelle. And it's in this kind of creamy colour. And it just came together so nicely, particularly like how the neckband's constructed. You definitely need to read the instructions carefully because it isn't constructed like I would normally construct this type of neckband on a jersey garment. But the way it's done, it kind of gives a bit of extra stability around there, which I think will work really well for Pointelle. And they mentioned the whole shape of the garment is designed to be extra close fitting. So apparently when you wear this, it feels a bit tight when you put it on. But then after you've worn it a couple of hours, it's supposed to relax. You're supposed to relax into it, so it'll kind of stretch out a little bit and leave you with like a really comfy, relaxed feeling garment. I haven't actually worn it that long yet, but I found it comfy already actually because I feel Pointelle is such like a soft, stretchy fabric. It did feel okay, but I'll be interested to wear it for an hour or two and see how it changes over that time. And I think the premise is then that once you've worn the garment, you pop it in the wash and it will sort of shrink back to the original and then stretch out again each time you wear it. So yeah, anyway, it came together really nicely. What I made, the size, what size did I make? Let me just double check on mine myself. Sizing page here. So I made the size B on the bust and then I graded out to C on the waist and hips. I thought I'd grade on this one because it is designed to be close fitting and I thought the fit might be quite critical. So I thought I'd grade out and it fits quite nicely. I did lengthen the body quite a lot, even though I made this sort of longer garment. When I held the pattern piece up to me, it looked like it would come up quite short. So I lengthened the body by 2 inches and I definitely feel like I needed that. I didn't lengthen the sleeves though because the sleeves are quite long. So I thought I'd just go with it, but I think maybe I might lengthen them by like 1/2 inch next time, but I think it is fine. I'll pop a picture up in a moment so you can see. But yeah, the sleeve is kind of a funny one I find because for me, the body came up a bit short and the sleeve came up on fairly long from what I'd be used to. I'd usually lengthen at least by 1 inch. So yeah, I definitely recommend if you like a longer fit garment, you're trying this one out to add a bit of length to the body. And then you can always take it off a bit later, I guess, anyway, if in doubt. But yeah. Anyway, it came together really nicely. I really like the fit of it and I like the scoop neck. I was a bit worried because the scoop neck is quite a wide scoop neck, and I was a little bit worried it'll be so wide it might show my bra straps a bit there, but actually it is fine, so I'm glad about that. And yeah, I'll pop a picture up so you can see what it looks like on. I lengthened it because I like to kind of be able to tuck tops like this into a pair of jeans, and just without the risk of sort of leaning up and it kind of popping out. But I guess if you just wanted to wear it as a simple top with the jeans out, you might not need to lengthen it so much. But I do quite like to have a decent amount to be able to tuck in there. But yeah, I really love it. I love how the whole pattern came together. I'm really happy to try this pattern. So thank you so much to everyone who suggested this pattern and made me aware of it being out there in the universe. I was really glad to give it a go. And definitely another lovely pattern by Paradise Patterns. It does make me want to try more. They haven't got a huge pattern collection when I looked at the website. I know the Hal-on dress is really popular. It's not one I've tried. But yeah, they don't have a huge collection of patterns, but they do seem to really just write them and draft them really well, and the instructions are great. So yes, I made that, and then I thought I wouldn't have enough fabric to be able to squeeze another top out of the 1.5 meters, but actually I found I had just enough fabric to be able to squeeze out a short sleeve version of the same top. And I thought, why not try that too, because I feel like with Pointelle, it's such a classic fabric. I definitely have room in my wardrobe for a couple of different t-shirts, long sleeved and short sleeved. So here is my second one that I sewed up in quick succession after the first. And for this one, I again went for the longer length, because I'm not sure the cropped sort of style is my style necessarily, but I added on the scoop neck rather than the high neck. I thought just I prefer that. And then it's got these little kind of cap sleeves, which are really cute as well. And again, it's sewed up really nicely. And I ended up twin needling the hems of this one because I used a zigzag on the cuffs of the first one, and I did find, even though I used the recommended zigzag that they suggested in terms of length and width, I did feel it was starting to stretch out a bit. So I went for the twin needle on all the other hems, and I found that worked better for me. But yeah, I'll put a picture up of this short sleeved one as well. I don't know which one I prefer really, the long sleeved or the short sleeved. I like them both. And yeah, it's cool actually, because the pattern has a few extras as well. Like at the back, it tells you all about how you could add like a little, is it called like a lettuce hem? It's kind of have that sort of wiggly feature that I know is quite popular in the 90s and has come back around again. So there's some cool extra bits in here if you want to have a bit of fun, trying out some different techniques and things. I wanted to keep my versions fairly classic, so I didn't go for that. But if I ever want to do a lettuce hem, maybe if my daughter might want one, it's nice to have some instructions to refer back to on how I could try that. So yeah, really great pattern. And yeah, I definitely would like to make the dress version. I think it'd be really cute for a summer dress too, but I'm looking forward to sort of wearing these garments and see how they do stretch out in time, see whether they do sort of shrink back to the original size when I wash them after I pop back on that. But yeah, I was so glad to be able to squeeze two out of the fabric, gob and the fabric as well, because I never know with 1.5 meters, I kind of feel like I need it for the sleeve length. Sometimes 1 meter is not quite enough. But yeah, it was great to be able to use the rest to make a little extra t-shirt. So yes, if you've got some Pointelle fabric, I'd really recommend having a look on the Paradise Patterns website. There are a few other options of things you can make as well. There's kind of like a loungewear type set, I think. So do go and have a look. I'll link the Honey Girl t-shirt down below. And if this fabric's still in stock at Fabric Godmother, I'll link that too. But yeah, really enjoyed making those. So that's the next thing I wanted to share. And then the next thing that I wanted to share with you is the sewing project that I'm currently working on, which I just started this week. And I wasn't really expecting to make this one. It wasn't really on my plans list at all. But I think the gorgeous sunny weather we've had this week here has just got me starting dreaming about the summer and what I might like to wear in the summer. And it got me inspired also to dig out some fabric that's been sitting in my stash for quite a while now. That is a very summery fabric. And I just thought, let's get sewing with it, and had an idea in my mind of what I might like to make, having deliberated over this fabric for quite a while. So I thought, let's just strike while the iron's hot and get it cut out and sewn up, ready to be able to enjoy it when the weather does get really warm. So I'll show you the fabric. This is just a little offcut of it. Most of it is sitting behind me on the floor in pieces ready to be sewn up. But yeah, there's a little bit left over here. So you may well recognise the fabric because I think it's a bit of a classic. It's one of Fabric Godmother's own prints, and it's called their Joni stripe fabric. And it comes in a few different colourways. This is the cream, and it also comes in a few different bases as well. And this is the viscose lawn. So it's really delicate, sort of lightweight, drapey, floaty fabric, perfect for summer. You can see it's a little bit sheer there. You can see a bit of the light coming through. It's definitely a very summery fabric. It is lovely. But yes, I had, I think 1.5 meters or 2 meters, and for a while I haven't been sure what to make with it. But I knew I wanted to make something for summer, and I just wanted to be able to enjoy it. So yes, this week I thought, right, I'm going to decide what to make, and I decided I'm going to make a pattern I already have, but a different version of it I haven't made before. And this is the pattern here, the Mave skirt pattern by True Bias. I love True Bias patterns, and I really love the Mave skirt. It's one of my more recent pattern purchases by True Bias, but I've made 2 versions to date, and I love wearing them both in summer. They're quite different to each other, and I really enjoy getting them both out. So I'm looking forward to making another, but in a different variation, because there are loads of variations built into this pattern. That's one of the things I really like about it. So the Mave skirt pattern is a skirt pattern designed for woven fabrics, and I think it works especially well in lovely swishy lightweight fabrics like viscose. Then it's got an elasticated waist with an optional drawstring you can add, and it's got inseam pockets, again are optional, and you can make it in 3 different lengths, either a mini or a midi or maxi. And then within each of those length options, there are different variations. So I think it's a pattern that is super flexible, that you can make in lots of different ways and have a lot of fun with. You can see all the different versions here. And to date, I've made 2. I've made this version here, the mini length with 1 tier, but I played about a little bit with the tier lengths. And then I also made a version that you can't see here because it's a bit of a hack of this pattern, using a True Bias tutorial on their website. And I made a midi length version with a curved hem, and I love that version. I really enjoy wearing that one. So yeah, I've made a couple of versions before. Oh, I should also mention the size range on this pattern. It has a really good size range. So I've got the paper pattern in a 0 to 18, but there's also an 14 to 30 range, which takes you up to a waist of 50.5 inches and hips of 59.5 inches. And it's a great pattern because I think sizing isn't too critical, because the waist is elasticated, and then because there's loads of gathering in these skirts, the hips measurement isn't too critical either, because there's loads of space there with the gathering. So yeah, it's a nice one to not have to worry too much about the fit until you get to the point of sort of fitting the elastic around your waist. But yeah, it comes together really nicely. It's a lovely pattern. I'm looking forward to making another one. So for this fabric here, I decided to make a simple midi length version without any tiers, which I thought would really show off this beautiful fabric to its full extent, so that the fabric's really the star of this show. So that's my plan. That's what I've cut out. I think I had either 1.5 or 2 meters of this fabric, and I lengthened the midi length skirt pattern piece a little bit, because I wasn't sure what kind of length midi I wanted to go for, because I guess midis can be anywhere, I guess, from below your knee down to just above maxi, and I wasn't sure how long. But I was a little bit limited by the amount of fabric. I had to really squeeze the pieces on and do them opposite ways up. So I think if you look carefully, the flowers will be a different way up on the front and back, but I think it won't be too obvious on this print. I just tried to make sure that hopefully the stripes will be matched up all the way around, and fingers crossed that'll work out okay. So yeah, it's all cut out. I decided not to add pockets because I thought with this lightweight fabric, it's quite delicate. I thought I probably wouldn't pop things in the pockets anyway, and I just thought they might just drag it down and affect the shape a little bit. So I've gone for a simple elasticated waist. I think I'll add the drawstring, and then yeah, that's my plan. I don't think I'm going to line it. I think once it's gathered in, although it's a bit sheer, I think once it's gathered in a little bit of the waist, there'll be enough coverage there. I've got some lining material actually, and because I originally thought I was going to make a dress in this fabric, and I thought I might need to line the bodice then, and I thought I can't use this fabric itself to line the bodice because you'd see the flowers coming through on the other side. So if I do decide later to add a lining, I can, and actually the Mave pattern does include instructions on how to add a lining, which is great too. But yeah, I think I'll make a really pretty skirt. It's a very different print to the other 2 Maves I have, and it'll be a different style too, so I think that's nice to try a different version and see how it looks. I think I saw Kelly from True Bias saying that her favourite sort of style of the Mave skirt is just the straight one, because she thinks it's got quite like a modern look. So I'm hoping that's what I'll achieve with this one, just a really nice skirt that showcases the print that I can pair with a simple top, and really enjoy wearing in the summer. I do have a top made out of the cotton lawn version of the fabric. It's a bit of a long story as to how I ended up with 2. But yeah, so it's nice to have a skirt as well, and I guess I could always put them together, and that might be quite nice as kind of almost like a faux dress maybe as well. I have to see how they look once I've sewn this one up. That might actually work nicely, but I'll be able to show you in a future video once I finish sewing it up. But yes, I'm really glad. You know, sometimes when you actually make that snip into the fabric and commit, it can feel so good, having had this fabric sitting there while I agonised over it for so long. So yes, that is my plan, and I'll be able to hopefully report back on this one soon and share with you the finished Mave skirt. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to revisiting that pattern and sewing up this fabric. So I'll link the Mave skirt pattern down below. It is such a nice skirt pattern for summer, I think, with all those variations built in. And I also had a look on the Fabric Godmother website, and this Joni Viscose Lawn in cream is still available, so I'll link that as well. Again, it's a lovely fabric for summer. And that is the last thing I've got to share in today's video. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed hearing about what I've been making and what I've been planning. I'm really glad to finally have cut into this fabric, and you're probably glad, if you've heard me talking about it before too, to finally know what it's going to be. I hope you've had a good week too, and thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you for another video very soon. But in the meantime, I will say goodbye and happy sewing. So yeah, bye!